Hey everyone, today's topic is going to be about cryptocurrency. Now, a lot of folks have reached out to me asking me about cryptocurrency. Is it a good investment? Right? Is there a way that I can make money? It's a little tricky. Right? A lot of people have seen a lot of success stories about how folks made a lot of money on cryptocurrency and it increased a lot. And that's true, it did, but not everyone made money. Right? I think that's important to call out. Before I get into anything, I do have a disclaimer. I do have cryptocurrency, but it's a very small portion of my net worth. I think roughly less than 1%. So it's there, but it's not doing much for me. Aside from that, the thing we're gonna start with is the definition of a cryptocurrency. Most people actually don't know what a cryptocurrency is before they come and ask me about it because they don't have any investments in it and they haven't really done deep research. But cryptocurrency, if you really summarize it, it's digital money. The SEC has their own definition of it, and basically it comes down to cryptocurrencies are items of inherent value, right, are designed to enable purchases, sales, or financial transactions. They're intended to provide the same functions as long-term established currencies, just without the backing of the government or other body. Whether we all subscribe to that definition is a different story. For everyone else, to summarize it, it's currency that's digital and you can use it to purchase stuff as long as the business allows you to do so. It also does fluctuate rapidly in value, right? So this is also part of what makes it risky, but remember, risky investments are high return investments, right? Most of the time they're directly correlated. Now, a few examples we've seen in the past is Bitcoin, right? Folks have used Bitcoin to purchase many things. The most famous one is when someone used 10,000 Bitcoins to purchase 2 pizzas in 2010. That is worth a lot of money now, right? Because Bitcoin in 2010 was much lower than it is now. So if you invested Bitcoin early on and over like 12-year period, you would have massively grown your wealth, and you can see the chart as well. A more common example that you see in the news these days is NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens, which are, in a way, it's digital assets that you purchase with Ethereums or other cryptocurrencies, right? There's other types as well, but the most popular example is using Ethereum. And by now you've noticed that, hey, I know about Bitcoin. I've heard about Ethereum. Those are the two big ones, right? And that's true. Those are the two big ones. A lot of folks tend to try to get rich quick with other currencies that aren't as well established or well known because they're at a lower price point. If you look at these two right now, it's pretty expensive, right? You can buy a portion of it, but you shouldn't expect exponential growth, right, from these anymore because like going from 1 cent to $1, right, it's very different from going from $40,000 to $80,000, which is only double in value. The focus of this video is going to be decentralized currencies. I'm aware that there are centralized cryptocurrencies, right, where they talk about, hey, China's building their own cryptocurrency, other governments are building their own cryptocurrency. We're not going to focus on that because their value likely won't fluctuate as much, which means that their returns probably aren't as high. They won't function as a form of investment. Some of you might be getting a little bit confused right now, right? Are cryptocurrencies a form of investment or are they a form of currency to purchase things? Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? There are a segment of folks that just buy cryptocurrencies and hold on to it as a form of investment in hopes that will grow in value, which it has done historically in the past. But that history is very short, right? We're talking about a 10, 15-year history here compared to over decades of years of historical data when we look at the stock market, right? So very different. Again, if your intention is to get rich quick, I'm gonna go ahead and say, look elsewhere because cryptocurrency is not the right place to do that. At this point in time, most folks are looking at cryptocurrency as a form of long-term investment, if that's how they're thinking about it. Or they're investing in the field and the space, believing that it will grow, and in the idea of decentralized technologies. If you're going to ignore everything I just said and you can go ahead anyway and be like, hey, I'm gonna invest in cryptocurrency anyway, right? Then the big question that comes up is, how do you know if a cryptocurrency is a scam or not? Right? We've seen this in the news, we've seen this in the past, a cryptocurrency, a lot of people get into it, it just collapses, everyone loses their money, right? We've seen this, there's headlines everywhere, even crypto exchanges, right? People buy into it, they lose all their money, the crypto exchange gets hacked, goes bankrupt, or people run away with the money, you're out of luck, right? Because the government is not going to protect you in that case, right? There's no financial insurance for this. And at the end of the day, you can't really tell if cryptocurrency is a scam or not. You can do due diligence and try to figure it out. So it's important to call that not all cryptocurrencies are created equal, right? Some are more legitimate than others. The big ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum that have a long history and have many users tend to be the ones that are more legitimate. Right? A cryptocurrency you've never heard of in the news or even in like forums anywhere, probably not as legitimate. Given how early the field is and the lack of regulation and controls, we're going to see a lot of scams. And my one piece of advice is don't put more money than you're willing to lose in cryptocurrency, right? Don't invest your life savings in cryptocurrency because that's how you can lose it all, right? You never know what's going to happen with these investments when they fluctuate so fast in value. By the time you look at it, half your wealth could be gone or half your wealth could have doubled. Hard to say, but chances are it's mostly going to be half your wealth is gone if it's a scam. We don't really know what's going to happen in this space and in this industry. All we know is that it's on a trajectory to grow. Right? We'll see a lot of charts, we'll see a lot of information. The number of people getting into cryptocurrency is growing, although maybe it's slowing down a little bit now, but there are periods of growth from here and there. Will it grow forever? Will it ever get to the status of an actual currency? In some places it has, right? In other places it hasn't. So it's hard to say. I'm personally a believer in the space growing, right? Especially with the big name currencies that have been here for a while and plan to be here for as far into the future with teams improving its technology. Other small cryptocurrencies that we've never heard of, it's a little bit of a gamble, right? Some are scams, some of them aren't, right? Some are actually dedicated teams. You really have to dig into it and look into it. And the first thing you want to do if you really want to get into investing in these cryptocurrencies is think about the big ones, right? You got Ethereum and Bitcoin. Those are the big ones by far margin. And when you look at the other cryptocurrencies in the space, look at those two first. You can't really go wrong investing in those two. I mean, you can, but the chances of it going wrong are much lower. And then there's the idea of white papers, right? If you're looking at a completely new cryptocurrency, take a look at their white paper if they have one. If they don't have one, kind of sketchy, right? It's pretty standard nowadays for any crypto project to have a white paper, which basically details out their goals, right? What they plan to do with this cryptocurrency. How's it different from everything else, right? What's the competitive advantage? And also they'll talk about the math behind it. I'll be honest, I don't understand the math, right? Do you understand the math? If you do, great. Then you'll have a leg up in terms of what's legitimate and what's not. I trust on the community to understand the math. That's why it's also important to understand that, hey, there's actually a large group of people around this project, and there's pockets of very intelligent and very smart people who actually read this white paper and read the code and really understand what's happening there, what's happening behind the scenes, right? Can the creators of this cryptocurrency just take your money? In some cases, yes. In most legitimate cases, no, right? There'll be controls built into place. But at a minimum, right, before you even go into investing in the cryptocurrency, you need to understand the utility of that cryptocurrency. Right? What's the purpose of it? Or is there historical significance to it? Does it have some sort of leg up when it comes to technology? Or is there a strong team behind it? What are they building, right? What does their roadmap look like in the next 5 years when it comes to improving the cryptocurrency and the space in it to encourage more users and growth in that value of the cryptocurrency? If you can't see any of that or you can't justify it, it's like any company that you want to invest in, don't do it. It might not be worth it, right? It's more of a gamble that you're not making an educated decision. Make sure to join the relevant communities. A lot of cryptocurrencies have communities in Discord and Reddit, right? You should see a lot of activity in those areas. If you don't, either it's super early on, which is fair, or they're not legitimate. So be sure to look for engagement in the news, right? Some people might say, hey, that's already too late. That cryptocurrency would have blown up in value. I have to think of it like it's safe, right? People are covering it, someone's doing an investigation into that cryptocurrency and you're not alone. I'd rather invest in a safe cryptocurrency that may have grown a little bit rather than get all the gains, rather than getting something that's super early and I lose all of my money because it was a scam in the first place. Now, as I mentioned before, a big part of investing in cryptocurrency for me is that it's not about making a quick buck, right? It's about investing in the space, right? I truly believe in the idea that time in the market is very important. Both what value they bring into the community and to the world. How will they get more folks to use cryptocurrency? How is it the future? And understanding those things really does play a major part because if you can understand the value that it brings, then demand will go up over time. But also other things to keep in mind is that cryptocurrency does have some IRS guidance in terms of if you sell your cryptocurrency or exchange it, that triggers a tax event, right? So don't want to deal with that, right? There's the idea of short-term and long-term gains as well. I just prefer to invest in it long-term. And if I do need to exchange it for whatever reason and use it, then I will at that time. But for the time being, I'm investing in it long-term and again, a very small portion of my net worth. So that's how you can get started, right? Just put a little money in there. Don't put a lot in there and just see how well you do. Right? Just like any investment, except this one's a little bit more riskier. Make sure to do your research before diving into it. All right, great. Hopefully you understand a little bit more about cryptocurrency. I'll put some more links below so you can read more about it. Yes, it can be complicated, but just like any investment, if you can understand stocks, bonds, this shouldn't be too much of a stretch. At the end of the day, you should be fine. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and just do your research and think of it as a long-term investment. All right, good luck out there.